Yo, we're out here in Mexico City. We're about to have an epic cheat day. And as I've told you before, I took a break from sugar. So I took about 3 years of not eating sugar. And being down here, I decided I want to gain some weight. So Jaren has helped me with the bulk, and I've been putting on a lot of weight. And part of that gets to be eating sugar once a week. So we are doing an epic cheat day today.
Today is our refeed day, and refeed means we don't track the diet, don't track the macros, we don't hit the gym, so we can refeed these nice muscles that we are building.
So we are going to hit up the 3 most popular pizza joints, in America as well. Pizza Hut, Papa John's, and Dominos. And we're gonna give you guys a little insight into which one is the best.
So we're gonna rank them by 5 very scientific categories: crust, sauce, cheese, toppings, and flavor.
Yes, and these categories have been reviewed by world-renowned scientists and experts in the pizza field.
Us.
So guys, this will probably be a published paper very soon, so stay tuned, and we'll get to you shortly with the results. All right, guys, we got the goods. So our next step is to do a taste test here. We're gonna do an initial test, and then we're gonna do an after effect and tell you what we think. Our first review and then our final. All right, guys, we're gonna start with Dominos. So we got a mix, we got Hawaiian, and then we got sausage pepperoni, just the classic. So I think we'll go with the sausage pepperoni. Look at this baby.
Oh, the ingredients are dripping off of it.
Dripping. All right, give it a test, Shane. Initial bite.
Definitely good. The crust is a little squishy, a little spongy, but we picked it up a bit ago, so it could have cooled down a bit on the commute. Toppings are good, a little on the greasy side for my liking, but overall, it's pizza.
I'm gonna have to give the crust, probably like a 5-6. It's a little doughy, like you said. There's not much sauce on it, actually. So I'm gonna have to give that a 3.
Yeah, they skipped the sauce.
Skip the sauce. The cheese is absolutely there. So that gets a 9 for sure. Toppings, I agree with you. I think that gets about an 8, 9. And then flavor. The flavor is really good. I'm gonna give it an 8 because it's missing the sauce. So overall, we'll give it an overall rating here in a minute. I know.
All right,
Guys.
next we are going to do the official taste test for the Pizza Hut, and I believe this was the pan pizza that we ordered here. So
I got one of these guys, man. It's fire. We got pepperoni and sausage, half and half. All right, cheers, brother.
Yep, cheers. Gingerly touch tips.
Gingerly.
Same thing, the crust is a little doughy too, but it's a little crispier on the bottom. Not much also in the way of sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Cheese is good. Cheese has good, I think it has good overall flavor.
Agreed.
I think a little more salt than the other one.
Agreed.
The toppings are good. They're nothing to write home about, not fantastic, just pretty
Yeah.
standard.
6, 7 maybe. I get the crust. I think the crust is a little better than the Domino's. It's a little crispier, like Jaren said. Not much sauce again, so gotta give that like a 3, 4. Cheese, 9, 10, easy. And then toppings, they're good. They're good toppings. They're classic. Nothing to write home about, but good enough for at least a 7. And then overall, I'll give this like a 7.
Yeah, I think so.
7. All right, 10 more bites.
And last but not least, we will unveil, which is usually my personal favorite, however this could be biased, that's why we wanted to conduct this scientific experiment, is Papa John's. This is a flavor I normally don't order, but it was on promotion and it sounded good compared.
Let me get a slice
To
out
the
and
other
show
one? Yeah.
you guys here.
So this is the spinach Alfredo.
That. Now, like I said earlier, a little sketchy because of the green, and when you think of a cheap damn pizza, you don't think greens, but we decided on this one because I've had Alfredo in a minute. So,
And yeah, this is a New York thin crust too. Crust is definitely crunchier.
Ooh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
So instead of your standard tomato sauce, this one actually has your cheesy Alfredo sauce. It's really good. You can't tell there's a lot of sauce on there. It's kind of just like a skinny piece of bread with some cheese and spinach on it. But overall, it's real good.
Yeah.
good flavor. It's unique as compared to the other ones.
The crust definitely gets like a 7, 8 on this.
Yeah, I think this is the best crust.
Crust is fire. Again, not much sauce, so a little disappointing for the 3. I mean, I thought there'd be a lot more sauce. Thankfully we have some sauce, so we're gonna load it up.
But we're also testing American pizza chains in Mexico, so it could largely be a cultural thing too. Although I order Papa John's quite a bit, usually on my cheat days, and typically it does have more sauce. So it could just be this variation that we ordered of the spinach Alfredo.
Okay. And then finally, to wrap this one up, toppings, easy 8, just delicious. And then overall flavor, that one gets a 10. The flavor on this one's fantastic.
Flavor's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah. We knew it would be. It's out on the menu. Yeah, we knew it would be.
So now we're gonna munch and destroy this. So we're gonna give you a post review once we're full and we can't breathe anymore.
And then notice too, as the video goes on, we will get bloated and slightly fatter too.
Yes.
We are gonna crush these pizzas, and we also have a couple of dozen donuts.
Let's go.
Thanks.
All right. Cheers. All right, guys. So we just finished our food. I'm stuffed. I can't eat for another at least 4 or 5 hours.
Got the messy shirt.
Got the messy shirt.
Got my eating shirt.
So this was our initial review. 7.8 for Domino's, for Papa John's, 6.8 for Domino's, and 6.2 for Pizza Hut. However, after eating the pizza for a prolonged period of time, we have a new rating, and we're gonna give you guys that right now. So let's start with Papa John's. Okay, so what did you think for the crust for Papa John's? Fine.
I actually like the crust the best. So that was the initial rating. I think at the end that remained true.
Okay,
But I like the crust
nice.
the best.
Nice. I will give that, let's say an 8. Let's give that an 8. So sauce, kind of, I'll give it like a 4. There wasn't much sauce.
Yeah, I think for the pizzas across the board, there wasn't much sauce there at all. So Papa John's was the outlier in the sense that it was the cheesy Alfredo sauce, but I order Papa John's all the time. Typically, they did put more sauce on there, and I do like their tomato sauce the best. So keep that 4, maybe bump up to a 5.
Yeah, I give it a 5. But let's keep Domino's and Pizza at a 4. So if you just want to fill those in.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, and it wasn't so much the lack of sauce flavor or quality, it was just the lack of sauce.
Yeah. And now maybe some of that sauce could have been taken up by the copious amounts of cheese that were on all 3 pizzas. So I think 10's around the board.
Yeah, the cheese won today. Apparently they really like cheesy pizza in Mexico.
Dude, so much dairy. Guys, watch my How to Quit Dairy video. It's really good. Okay. All right, and then for toppings, for Papa John's anyway, it started off as one of the highest for me. Towards the end though, and I'm gonna tell you my favorite in a little bit, I gotta give it probably like a 7. I gotta drop it 1. It just didn't blow my mind.
I think drop it 2, and there wasn't much in the way of toppings there. It was really just the spinach kind of blended into the cheese and lack of sauce. How about Domino's Pizza Hut? Domino's is best.
Toppings wise, yes, I'm gonna have to bump Domino's up 1. So let's make that a 9.
Yeah, the toppings were both considerably better. They had better texture, more rich flavor, not as much grease, and then there's a lot more of them. And I like a lot of toppings on my
Exactly.
Pizza Hut the same, or?
You know what? Let's keep that a 7 because what I found is there wasn't a lot of toppings like Jaron just said. This is a very scientific review, guys. All right, so definitely subscribe if you like these scientific, in-depth reviews on Mexican pizza.
And then flavor, overall flavor. Initially, I think Papa John's had the best flavor because they had the freshest ingredients, and again, I'm a little partial to Papa John's, but in terms of what my palate said after eating pizza for a prolonged period of time, that changed. I believe Domino's had the best flavor, although I wasn't a huge fan of its crust.
Yeah, I give Domino's as well the best flavor, so let's bump that one up to a 9.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then Domino's crust, I'm trying to think there. At first I didn't like it, it was a little too gooey,
Yep.
but towards the end, when the goo started to transition more into crisp, I actually quite enjoyed it, so I'd probably leave it at 6, or maybe bump it up to 7, but it was still a bit gooey initially.
I agree. Let's bump that up to a 7. I actually like the crust more because it was like...
Yeah, it grew on me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to grow inside us tonight.
Go inside the toilet.
Now let's go for flavor. We already labeled Domino's as a 9. For Papa John's, again, it started as a 10 just because that initial first bite we were really hungry, but I kept going back to Domino's.
Yeah, me too. But initially, again, I was partial to Papa John's, but as I ate more and more, I kept gravitating back towards Domino's.
Yep. So I would say let's bump that down to like an 8.5.
Decimal points now?
We're doing decimal points because again
That's
we
a
have to honor Papa John's, but we gotta be realistic. And Pizza Hut, yeah, keep it as a 7.
This is a 7, and then the crust for Pizza Hut. I wasn't too enthused about it. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, we have an air fryer here, so we crisp it a little bit, which helped. So I'd say we'll bump it up to a 6.
Okay. Now for our final ratings, Joel, since you're Asian, you will present them. No. So who's going to do the final rating? Okay, Joel's going to do some Asian stuff right now while we calculate the final ratings, aka Joel calculates the final rating.
Speaking of which, you have a calculator. See, I can add them up, but I just can't divide 30 divided by 5.
So as you can see, we're pretty hungry from our initial reviews. It turns out the more pizza we ate, the more we like pizza. That's probably the biggest take home that I have from this video. Papa John's did drop by not much, just a tenth of a decimal point. Domino's, that surprised me that it went up a bit, and that could be, if you guys recall years ago, Domino's had a PR crisis. They just didn't have very good pizza. That could still be stuck in my head. And then a while back, and it's a famous marketing case study, they actually surveyed their entire customer base and understood why people didn't like the pizza and what they wanted in a pizza. So they built it to the consumer demands. And I think that's probably why Domino's surprised me, because traditionally, if you guys grew up in like the 90s, early 2000s, it used to be pretty bad. And then also keep in mind too that we're reviewing these pizza chains in Mexico, so there may be some slight differences there too in terms of preparation. But a lot of times with the American food chains abroad, you're disappointed. Actually, with the pizza down here, I think they're doing a pretty good job of maintaining the original recipes from home.
I agree. And something about the U.S. too is, as you guys know, if you're in the U.S., it's always super greasy. So what I did find here is that the food isn't as covered in slop. So it tastes more like you kind of made it.
Although they plastered it in cheese, so that was refreshing.
Yeah, they kind of balance it out. But
usually the cheese is really greasy in the U.S.
Exactly.
Yeah, the crust is soggy. The crust was considerably crispier here.
Yeah, like I know in the U.S. at Pizza Hut, like I'm afraid to get it on my face because I know I'm just gonna break out in acne because of all the grease.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if you've ever done this, and comment if you guys have too. You take a napkin to soak up the grease because there's so much.
I do exactly. Yeah, we didn't have to do any of that.
Didn't have to do that. Yep. So guys, thanks for tuning in to our cheat day on pizza reviews in Mexico. Next week we're gonna be diving into donuts and how donuts compare here to the U.S.
And more specifically, what change we're gonna do? We're gonna do the Dunkin', the Krispy Kreme, and then the Tim Hortons. So U.S. versus Canada versus a surprise Mexican donut.
Yes. So stay tuned for that, guys. Talk to you in the next one. Peace.
Cheers.